Hello everyone. Today I shall discuss a competency in pharmacology PS 3.2 to perform and interpret a critical appraisal, that is audit of a given prescription. The prescription audit is actually a healthcare facility level exercise and is ideally suitable for postgraduate training. Therefore, I have prepared this exercise in a hybrid mode, which could be used either for UG training or for PG training or for both. Now, as regards PS 3.2, to perform critical appraisal, the domain involves skill level is to perform and interpret. Learning method which is used is demonstration, which is followed by a skill station exercise. Certification is required, therefore performs and interprets 100% each time for 3 occasions. Evaluation is done by observation, viva voce and checklist. Co-competency to this competency is also PH 1.10, and that is describe parts of a correct, complete and legible generic prescription. Identify errors in prescription and correct appropriately. Now this exercise requires identification of errors and correcting it. So this is different than the exercise PS 3.2. There is also prescription audit as a part of the syllabus for PG training. This I suppose would be helpful for training of UG and PG. The session objectives are to appreciate the need of prescription audit by UGs and PGs, to plan and conduct prescription audit independently, PGs, to analyze the results and draw conclusions, UGs and PGs, and to identify areas of improvement and make recommendations for change in the prescription practices to promote rational use of medicines, PGs. Now, objectives of prescription audit are to assess the extent of irrational prescribing, to detect prescribing errors with their reasons, to reduce the irrational uses of antibiotics, syrups, injections, to identify areas of improvement, and to promote good practice of writing complete, legible, generic and rational prescriptions by the healthcare. Now, by audit we mean evaluation of documents, data and resources to check that performance meets the specific standards. Therefore, with this audit definition, prescription audit can be defined as a systematic and critical analysis of prescriptions against key quality indicators and prescribing guidelines to provide feedback for improvement in prescribing practices. A prescription audit, we know, that is an important tool and involves observation, evaluation and further recommendations on the prescribing practices to make rational and cost-effective prescribing and to promote safe use of medicine. It is usually a component of clinical audit and one of the quality improvement indicators. The key points of prescription audit are that it is a facility level review exercise and cyclic exercise actually, that is it is done periodically, and when done regularly, it ensures that patients receive high quality care, cost effective and efficient health care. It provides useful information on clinicians' prescribing habits, appropriateness of medicine usage and its availability at healthcare facility, drug dispensing practices and workload of the healthcare facility. One should realize that audit is not finding fault. It is to identify attributes where further. What are the steps of prescription audit? Define objectives, identify standard for evaluation, and methodology is to be snugly planned. Data collection, number of the prescription to be collected, method of collection, period of collection, demography and disease patterns in that facility. About 20 prescriptions per facility can be collected in a day for about 1 month, so that total number is 600 milligram, 600 prescription. Now, so collected prescriptions will be analyzed and compared with the standard guidelines, and one can do percentages, scoring or grading to identify attributes requiring improvement. Of course, interpretation and conclusions would be done, and one can appreciate that prescription audit follows steps of research methodology actually. Therefore, it is an ideal exercise for PGs, but also a good learning experience for you. Now, step 1 for audit is plan for conducting audit. Second, constitute an audit committee or sit together and plan the activity entirely, how the prescriptions will be collected, how they will be analyzed. Then take the necessary permissions, permission to conduct audit, permission to collect the Xerox copies of the prescriptions from a given facility, and if required for ethics. Step 2 is determine sample size. Formula can be used, very simple, Z square PQ upon L square. Now, sample size reckoner is also available, and you can see that approximately 95 prescription will be adequate with a margin of error 10% and confidence interval 95%. Therefore, generally WHO recommends collection of 600 prescriptions for complete prescription analysis. Now, once they are collected, then we must identify appropriate standards. In this exercise, we will be using WHO core prescribing indicator and prescription audit guidelines issued by Ministry of Family Welfare and Health, Government of India, and we will also take help of National Essential Medicine List 2022 and prepare prescription audit formats. Now, these, in addition to the indicators which I talked about, we will also take indicators for completeness of prescription and indicators for legibility and rationality of. WHO core prescribing indicators are average number of drugs per encounter, average number of drugs prescribed by generic name, average of encounters with an antibiotic prescribed, and percentage of encounters with injections, and percentage of drugs prescribed from EML. Now, indicators for completeness of prescription would include the details of a prescription and ideal prescription, patient's detail, the consultant's detail, diagnosis or description of the health problem, information on medicine, that is dosage form, names, full or abbreviated, strength of formulation, dose, advice regarding food, duration of treatment, interaction with co-prescribed drugs. Non-pharmacological advice will also be included. For example, what diet should be avoided, what activities should be avoided. Now, signature and information about prescriber, that is doctor's name, qualification, registration number, will also be counted. Now, legibility and rationality of prescription will be done by percentage of prescription with legible handwriting, percentage of prescription where medicines were prescribed in line with standard treatment guidelines, percentage of prescriptions where allergies were mentioned, percentage of prescriptions with brief history given, percentage of prescriptions with provisional or final diagnosis was there, percentage of prescription where salient features of clinical examination was recorded, percentage of prescription where scheduled dosage forms are given, percentage of prescription with vitamins and tonics included, percentage of prescription where antibiotics were prescribed as per antibiotic policy, and percentage of prescription with injection prescribed excluding vaccine. Legibility can also be graded as grade 1 poor and grade 4 excellent. Data collection, template and analysis will be required. Now, uniform collection of data, that means prescription, 20 prescription per day spread over 1 month, means that all days included, not that 3 days activity is done and entire month not given, gone there. It's not like that. And at least 50% prescription should be collected in the first week, 2 weeks, and 50% prescription should be collected in the later 2 weeks. Percentage calculation should be used, finalization of results should be done, preparing summary and graphics, and the costs should be found out for the attributes, and solutions can be invited by brainstorming. So identified problem, its root cause, and suggested remedies can be. Now this is the format which we are using for prescription audit by UG student individually. Each student shall enter the indicators in the form of number or yes or no, and the total indicators counted will be 20. Then each student, according to prescription number, would also enter those attributes into the final data collection form. So we will have all the data for 20 students in one sheet. Summary results can be made, percentages can be made very easily. For example, percentage of drugs prescribed by generic name will be calculated as total number of generic drugs upon total drugs prescribed and to be multiplied by 100. In the same token, percentage of prescriptions containing vitamin, tonic and enzymes would be divided by total prescriptions and divided by a simple exercise. Now a hypothetical example is cited to apprise the students that this can be the root cause and this can be the possible solution. It was found that 80% of prescribed tonics prescribed. Now, does it mean that all the 80% of the patients were had malnutrition and needed multivitamins? Now, therefore, reason may be inadequate knowledge, inadequate skill, or inadequate attitude on the part of prescriber. Now, so far as inadequate knowledge is, that is about role of tonics in illness, and the suggested improvement is enhanced access of literature concerning rational use of medicine or relationship between cost and compliance. Then skill inadequacy can be dealt with by making more availability of standard treatment guidelines and skill training. And sometimes attitude inappropriateness can also be seen. There could be a belief tonics boost energy in sick. Therefore, it requires training and CME and stress on adverse consequences of prescribing excessive tonics and vitamins. Sometimes drug promotion is such that the prescriber is in pressure to prescribe the tonics. Therefore, regulatory restrictions will be needful to combat this problem. So, once we have found out, then this is a cycle of quality improvement. We identify the cause, take corrective action. If problem is rectified, it's okay. Then we will try to prevent future problem, and then this cycle will go on. Therefore, prescription audit cycle or quality improvement cycle can be done by cyclic periodic prescription. There is a resource which can be accessed. Now, the skill lab activity, that is session techniques, will be, we will arrange 20 stations. Each station would have one prescription. A combined lecture will be needed with the stress on need, objectives and methodology to be adopted for prescription audit, and it shall be followed by demonstration how to perform audit. So this all we have done in the form of this. Each student shall get a Xerox copy of prescription which are numbered 1 to 20, which he or she has to audit. A copy of National Essential Medicine List, Standard Treatment Guidelines or textbook is made available, and each student has access to it also. Each student shall fill the entries in the blank indicated form, and once completed, he shall also fill the entries in the data collection form according to the prescription number allotted. Each UG student shall individually appraise 3 different prescriptions at different occasions for certification. Evaluation can be done by observation, viva and checklist, and logbook assessment for both UG and PG. This is a format of checklist for UG. The student knows how to access the essential medicine list. He fills all the points. Then the student enters the indicators in the data entry sheets, takes help or does it independently. The student interprets the results, and the student has understood the objectives and need for prescription audit, which can be assessed by viva. Total points are given, and at 3 occasions the student will achieve the points that will require certification. The same exercise can also be used further for PG training. PG students shall collect predetermined number of prescriptions randomly from the shortlisted healthcare facility. The PG student shall also actively participate in randomization, planning the audit, and developing teaching learning material for the undergraduate training. He shall assist in evaluation of checklists. PG students shall analyze the data, prepare graph charts, and draw conclusion. And PG seminar shall be organized thereafter to discuss the result and identify low scoring attributes requiring improvement to make recommendations. Results shall also be shared with the stakeholders, healthcare providers, and administration, and that will complete the